As dawn broke, fishing boats began to leave the harbor, carrying with them the hopes and hardships of the coastal people. On the deck, ropes and fishing nets were checked for the last time. Everyone was busy preparing for a day of drifting in the vast ocean. Far out at sea, the sea is quiet with only the hum of the engine and the sound of waves lapping against the boat. A journey to make a living begins silently, persistently, and full of challenges. This is the story of fishermen warriors in the heart of the ocean. After many hours drifting in the open sea, the nets were gradually pulled up in excitement and anticipation. The fishermen clung to the edge of the ship, their hands tightly holding onto each heavy net, as if they were pulling the entire ocean onto the deck. Under the deep blue water, schools of fish wriggled and sparkled, the result of hard work amidst the storm. Each batch of fish was brought up, spilling onto the deck. The sound of fish splashing, the sound of people calling to each other, mixed with the salty smell of the ocean, all created a vivid picture of honest, arduous, but proud labor. The last net had just been brought up, and the entire hold was now filled with fresh fish. The smell of the sea, sweat, and quiet joy permeated the ship. Some pulled the ropes, others washed the fish, their hands and feet working tirelessly. The deck was wet, the fish were thrashing about, but everyone was used to that scene. Every trip was a gamble with nature. The net began to be lowered into the sea. The yellow buoy stood out on the blue water like a giant trap. Below, the school of fish was being gradually trapped in an arc with no way out. Each meter of the net released was carefully calculated by an entire team: time, current, wind direction. Everything had to be precise. The fisherman quietly observed, then quickly controlled the machine to close the circle. The net was gradually tightening. Layers of silver fish began to appear, wriggling violently like lightning under the water. A successful net closing, bringing with it the hope of a bumper fishing season. As soon as the fish are loaded onto the ship, they are quickly transferred to deep freeze holds, where temperatures are strictly maintained to preserve freshness. Workers in raincoats and hard hats continuously spray cold water, rearranging the layers of fish as if fighting against time. The journey does not stop there. When the ship reaches shore, the fish continue to be transported to modern processing plants. Here, each fish is carefully classified, processed, and packaged by the hands of workers. From the ocean, through many difficult stages, the fish finally reaches the hands of consumers, carrying both the salty taste of the sea and the humanity of many silent workers. The fish continue to be brought to the processing line, where modern machinery works in harmony with human hands. Each batch of fish slides through the conveyor belt, is cleaned, deboned, cut into pieces, packaged. All stages take place continuously, ensuring quality and food hygiene and safety. The net was lowered slowly. The green nets began to blend into the water, drifting away with the current. Under the sea, the school of fish had no idea that the trap was tightening. On the boat, all eyes were still on the net, tense and silent. Fishing is not just about strength, but also patience, experience, and feeling things that only people who live by the sea have. When the last tuna were pulled up on deck, the work did not stop. In the dim light of the boat, the fishermen quickly placed each fish into a basket, their hands never resting. The cold of the ice in the hold seemed to run straight to their skin. But no one cared. The most important thing right now was to keep each batch of fish fresh. The net was pulled up little by little, heavy with fish. Under the sunlight, the silvery bodies of the fish gradually appeared, signaling a bountiful catch. When the net opened, the fish poured onto the deck like a waterfall. Cheers and the splashing of fish echoed throughout the ship. After so many storms, this was the moment when all the hard work paid off. The deck was now filled with fish. The smell of the sea, the sound of fish splashing, and the sound of hurried footsteps created a lively scene. Fishermen quickly gathered the fish, sorted them, and prepared to bring them to the cold storage. Time is money. Keeping the fish fresh means keeping the fruits of a long journey. Under the blazing sun, the nets of catfish were pulled up full. The whole ship's hold was filled with cheers and the sound of fish splashing like hail. Fishermen used their hands and baskets, taking advantage of every second to collect the fish. The scene was familiar, but each time brought a different feeling, both hard work and satisfaction. On the bow of the boat, dozens of fishermen coordinated to pull the net meter by meter. The whole school of fish was gathering in the middle, thrashing the water surface as trying to escape the sea. The sunlight shone down on the clear blue water, reflecting silver rays from the fish's bodies. This was a time that required precision and solidarity. Just a small mistake, and the whole school of fish could escape. The silvery fish thrashed vigorously in the net. Under the blazing sun, the fishermen's hands were still nimble, gathering each bunch of fish, each stroke of the net. The saltiness of the sea, the fatigue of the job, all gathered in this moment. Fishing is not just work, but life. It is also the belief in a prosperous tomorrow. When the sun was leaning towards the horizon, the last batch of fish finally lay still in the cold hold. The hands were tired, the shirts were soaked with sweat and seawater, but no one complained. For the seafarer, as long as the ship returned safely, his heart was at peace. A full hold of fish was not only an achievement, but also a worthy reward for many days and nights at sea. The sea gives fish, but it costs sweat and heart. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to continue the journey with us.